Leadership is all about choices, and sometimes the most difficult ones involve conversations. Have you ever delayed a difficult conversation because you fear the outcome or the consequences? We all have. But delaying, we realize, often leads to even greater risk in the long term. In the book Crucial Conversations, the authors describe tough conversations as those that are differing opinions, highly emotional, or have great risk or consequences. When handled well, conflict can lead to greater breakthroughs, more vision, bigger dreams, but when handled poorly, they can have harmful results. This can play out in many different ways in organizations. One, someone becomes the victim, and ultimately that results in someone becoming an enemy. Two, some can suffer in silence, ultimately impacting their performance, their work, and their relationships. I heard this quote: when we avoid difficult conversations, we trade short-term discomfort for long-term dysfunction. Another option is to take heart, to really lean into difficult conversations, lean into the discomfort. We find that although we do shy away from conflict, what happens is every time we have a difficult conversation, we learn something new, and there's great benefits that come from it. So I want to share with you 3 ways that we can see advantages from having really tough conversations where it could benefit the culture and your organization. Number 1, you get an opportunity to create a culture of courageous leadership. Each time you as a leader lean into a difficult conversation, you're modeling to others what you expect from them. It's an opportunity for you to show people that you're willing to lean into the risks that can come from a difficult conversation. You know that there may be adversity, but you want to do what's best for the organization, what's best for the culture, and ultimately what's best for that other person. Number 2, you get to maximize potential perspectives and possibilities within your organization. Every time you lean into a difficult conversation, you get to see things from a different viewpoint. You get to ask some really tough questions. What am I learning from this conversation? What's underneath the emotion? What it does is it tells you we need conflict. Every organization, every team needs conflict. From it, you get visions and dreams in ways that you can expand beyond what you may be thinking, what your strategic plans may say. It allows creativity and it allows innovation. And lastly, conflict is about you. It's an opportunity for you as a leader to become more confident and more freer. Oftentimes in coaching, someone will ask me, can you teach me how to be confident? Well, the only way you learn how to be confident is to actually do it, to dive into it, even when you're nervous, even when you're scared. And what you'll learn is every time you exercise your leadership muscle, you become free, you become more autonomous, you become more confident in this area of tough conversations. And so the next time you have a tough conversation, lean into it, try it, learn from it, but I also have some tips for you that will help you in your next difficult conversation. Some of my favorite Bible verses uses the term take heart. And this term take heart means to be bold, to have courage, to be resolute. You know, there's an easy way that we can remember how to go into difficult conversations using this acronym, take heart. H is for hearing and listening. Hearing and listening with empathy. Every time we sit down with someone to have a difficult conversation, go into that with the idea that you are going to listen to this person's point of view. You get to learn more about the person. You get to learn why they feel the way they do. You get to learn more about how you need to handle this situation. E is for expect. Expectations. What do you expect to happen from this tough conversation? Never go into a difficult conversation winging it. You gotta know exactly what you expect to happen from this conversation. Is it a changed behavior that you're expecting? Is it a poor performance review that you're giving to someone and you're expecting that they're gonna live out the goals and the objectives that you're setting for them? Whatever it is, make sure that you know what you want to see coming out of this difficult conversation. A is for acknowledge. Acknowledge your part. Acknowledge your fault. Maybe it's just as simple as, I wish I would have scheduled this meeting sooner. I wish I didn't make an assumption. But telling the other person that you acknowledge your part in the disagreement or the misunderstanding is huge to empathy and connection with the other person. R is restate. Whenever you leave a difficult conversation or any conversation, make sure that you restate before you leave that conversation with exactly what the outcome is. Never leave assuming that the other person understood you. Restate your objectives, restate the outcome, restate the expectations. Make sure that both of you understand exactly what is happening after that meeting ends. And last is test. The only way that you know that a conversation was understood is to test it. Have you actually seen change behavior? Has there been forgiveness in your own heart? Test it out. Make sure that you understand that this conversation has been resolved, even if it's difficult. And if not, start at the beginning. Take heart. What are some reasons that you shy away from tough conversations? Or have you had some ways that you've approached tough conversations in the past that have been helpful for you, your relationships, or your organization? Share in the comments below. Thanks for watching.